Footnotes from the Life Application Study Bible. The village of Bethany was located about 2 miles east of Jerusalem, on the road to Jericho. It was near enough to Jerusalem for Jesus and the disciples to be in danger, but far enough away so as not to attract attention prematurely. When they heard that Lazarus was ill, the disciples may have wondered, who sinned, or perhaps, what did he do wrong, like they had for the blind man? But Jesus clearly explained to his disciples that sickness and death do not indicate that God has rejected someone or that the afflicted person has done something wrong. Neither we nor our loved ones are exempt from pain and death. Lazarus, Mary, and Martha were Jesus' very close friends and disciples. Jesus loved them, yet he did not rush to spare them grief. The presence of pain and suffering in the lives of both believers and non-believers can teach us that Christians do not have different experiences in life. Rather, we experience life differently. Our hope in Jesus does not insulate us from life's difficulties, but it does provide a way through and beyond them. God can use difficult experiences for good in our lives in many ways, one of which is to make us more compassionate servants for him as we comfort others. As their brother grew very sick, Mary and Martha turned to Jesus for help. They believed in his ability to help because they had seen his miracles. We too know of Jesus' miracles, both from Scripture and through changed lives we have seen. When we need extraordinary help, Jesus offers extraordinary resources. We should not hesitate to ask him for assistance. Any difficult situation a believer faces can ultimately bring joy to God, because God can bring good out of any bad circumstance. When trouble comes, do you grumble, complain, and blame God, or do you see your problems as opportunities to honor him and grow in your spiritual maturity? Jesus loved this family and often stayed with them. He knew their pain, but did not respond immediately. His delay was not from lack of love. He had a specific purpose in mind. God's timing, especially his delays, may make us think he is not answering, or is not answering the way we want. God's best plan for us is sometimes painful, but he will meet all our needs according to his perfect schedule and purpose. Patiently await his timing. Daylight symbolizes the knowledge of God's will and reliance on his guidance, and night represents the absence of this knowledge combined with self-reliance. When we move ahead in darkness, we will likely stumble. If Jesus had been with Lazarus during the final moments of Lazarus' sickness, he might have healed him rather than let him die. But Lazarus died so that Jesus' power over death could be shown to his disciples and others. The raising of Lazarus was an essential display of his power, and the resurrection from the dead is a crucial belief of the Christian faith. Jesus would not only be raised from the dead, he also has the power to raise others. We often remember Thomas as the doubter, because he doubted Jesus' resurrection. But here he demonstrated love and courage. The disciples knew the dangers of going with Jesus to Jerusalem, and they tried to talk him out of it. Thomas merely expressed what all of them were feeling. When their objections failed, they were willing to go, even though dying with Jesus was a real possibility. They may not have understood why Jesus would be killed, but they were loyal. Doing God's work has unknown dangers. Will you remain loyal to Jesus when opposition increases? Thomas was ready to do whatever it took to follow Jesus. Courage often boils down to trusting Jesus and being ready to go wherever he calls. Emotionally, this experience is much like the first time off a high dive or the first public speech. The stakes may be high, but so are the benefits. We don't realize God's power until we take the first step. Thomas was the first to step out in faith. Sooner or later, you will have the opportunity to take a step of courage. Your step may motivate others to take action as well. Ask God for the courage you need.